quote by Rav Kook that says, Hayashan yitchadesh v'hechadash yitkadesh. The old will be renewed and the new will be sanctified. This year at ACAJE-JOP has been about that quote. That's at the center of our work. The holiness of the work we do is renewing the past and giving new meaning to the present and the future. What you will see in this short video are moments that have touched our staff, where they have seen in our work the holiness and the transformation of individuals, of institutions, and of our Jewish community.
One of the biggest accomplishments is that we go in and we energize groups of people in synagogues, and we take people that have been maybe working in different aspects, and we bring them together, and there's a common goal, and something happens in the group where these folks get excited about doing service work in the synagogue in service of strengthening the synagogue and helping Jewish education or whatever it is that they happen to be working on.
So every year I ask the education directors what was the best part of this seminar this year, and they always tell me the same thing. The best part was that they were with one another, because ed directors never have an opportunity to share experiences and learn from one another, because when would they normally get together? And an interesting thing has happened this year. We've had some younger education directors, and including some rabbi education directors, joining the seminar, and I've seen that the older education directors have obviously been mentoring them.
One of the learnings that we garnered from NES this year is just how flexible NES is within the structure of the 6 components. We had changes in synagogues that forced us to look at the way we were doing things differently, and to then meet the synagogues where they are to help guide them along the process, and at the same time examine our goals and our successes and say, can you still have success if it's not exactly what your original plan was? And the other point is, how do we measure success? We've talked about these wonderful, wonderful gains, and for each synagogue it's different, it's unique, and yet we can compile all those successes and make one great success for NES.
May 16th was the inclusion conference, which exceeded our expectations. 220 some people came. And one of the best comments that I heard was from a person who is on the board at ORME, where I'm on the board, and her sister attended, who's a member of a different synagogue, and she has a child who has special needs. And she came back and she said to her sister, I never knew the Jewish community cared.
In a recent meeting with a program director from one of the congregations that's been participating in Cineplex for a number of years, she made a comment to me that was very positive, and had suggested that the programming that comes out of Cineplex is of such high quality and so out of the box that now whenever they do any programming that's creative, the congregation will make comments to her, oh, that's so Cineplexy. And I thought that was fabulous.
Our success this year was that teachers had those aha moments to say, right, the content, those strategies are a means to an end, and the end is to help students make those connections to their own sense of awe, to make connections to how they connect with the Jewish community, what their role is in the world in terms of tikkun olam, and it put a different excitement for the teachers in their own work as to the mission.
So one of the highlights for me this year, having worked on the program for 3 years, was when I received a thank you note from our 2009-2010 author, Dara Horn, in which she wrote, I'm very honored to have my book at the center of this event, but much more than that, I'm humbled by how you and your partners have created an entirely new paradigm for Jewish learning that crosses denominations and generations to bring people together to study Jewish texts. It's an honor to be a part of this reinvention of American Jewish culture.
So one of the exciting things that has happened over this year has been the way we've been able to really raise the level of technology being used, both in the office, through our database system, through using collaborative online tools such as Google Documents and Google Calendar, which allows us to really have a better sense of what's happening agency-wide. But then also what we've been able to bring to the synagogues, and both the professionals as well as the volunteers. So we've worked with education directors, early childhood directors, rabbis, as well as lay committees on how to use these tools, both to help the conversations among the staff and among committees become more efficient, but also in order to communicate. Another way that we've seen technology used in a different way this year was with our first online professional development course. We had a number of ed directors as well as teachers participate, and what we found was even after the 2-month course officially ended, they continued to talk and share with each other because they had developed not only a comfort with the technology, but this sense of community. And this is really an example of what ACAJE-JOP is about. It's about strengthening the individuals so that they can strengthen their institutions and ultimately strengthen the community.